This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12, and it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have but a short time." So, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chachadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and a sincere shalom to you, Arkim, who pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and in sincerity. As always, I start by saying that we are the true Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, he so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans, so on and so forth. We are the true descendants of the man in the Bible who is named Israel. This also applies to anybody who may look like any of the other 17 nations, but if you believe in this word through faith and in truth and in sincerity, then you too might be an Israelite no matter what you look like, because the scriptures say that Israel is as a speckled bird. So we're going to look like all nations now, because Israel has been scattered amongst all nations throughout our various captivities. And pertaining to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, it states that your nationality is determined by the seed line of your father. So if your seed line of your father goes back to the man named Israel in the Bible, then you too are an Israelite. But that's enough about that. If you'd like to learn more about that, just Google GMS 12 tribe sign. But I'm going to get into this lesson because a lot of things have been happening over the past few weeks, and this culminated in this demonization of us Israelites. You know, Esau's trying to label us as black Hebrew Israelites or terrorist groups, but as we all know, this has been Esau's agenda and plan for the longest time, but now he's putting it into effect. So I'm going to read this article, then I'm going to bring out some precepts, Lord willing, through the Spirit, and Lord willing, it will be edifying. So this is the news article which was published on the 11th of December, which is yesterday, if I'm correct. So it says, New Jersey killers targeted Jewish supermarket, published on 11th of December. And as you can see, Esau's coming in heavy with his military troops. As you can see, you've got these armed police with guns rolling up on the scene, and this is Esau's agenda. He's wanting to do this from day dot. So let's read the article and I'll play the video. It says, witness described hearing rounds of gunfire during the incident. Now I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9 armed police responding to this incident. And Esau's coming out with the big guns, man. Big guns and armed police. So let's get into this.
Ready. Yeah. I want to see what his person is,
After reviewing the CCTV cameras on the Jersey City side, we do feel comfortable that it was a targeted attack on the Jewish kosher deli across the street here.
My principal was like, teachers and staff were going on lockdown, and when he said that, all of us just put in like a tuck-in row, like a tuck, and I was nervous, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was just very nervous, and then I heard gunfire, boom, 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 and then after that, we just like put our heads over our like hands over our head, and then we just like wait until everything was secure. And then when everything was secure, I saw cops, like cop cars, like driving very fast, very fast.
Well, first it was just like quick, like pow, 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 and then I was just joking. It's fireworks in December. How odd, because it's not 4th of July. And then within 5 minutes, it was like louder sounds, like shotgun kind of, different attitude with the bullets, and rounds are going on, and it sound like a firefight.
Right, so as we know, this is bullshit. And Esau employs crisis actors, and he stages these false flag attacks in order to try and push his own agenda through using his order out of chaos. So Esau creates the chaos, then he comes in and provides a solution to the chaos, which is in line with his own agenda. So let me just read this article now, get some scriptures. It says, a Jewish supermarket in New Jersey was the target of a gun attack which left 6 people dead, including 2 suspected assailants, say officials. No motive has been confirmed, but the mayor of Jersey City tweeted that hate and anti-Semitism had no place in the city. Now this shows Esau's the devil, because it says no motive has been confirmed, but yet the mayor of Jersey City tweeted that hate and anti-Semitism has no place in the city. So if you haven't got a motive, how can you say it's a hate crime or motivated by so-called anti-Semitism? Now, as we know, there's no such thing as anti-Semitism, because there's nobody in the Bible called Sem. There's a man called Shem, S-H-E-M, and in order to be anti-Shemitic, it doesn't mean that you just have to be against the so-called Jews, which are not the Jews, pertaining to Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. They're really the tribe of the house of Esau, the tribe of Amalek, the synagogue of Satan. And if you were against the line of Shem, that would mean you'd have to be against East Indians, you'd have to be against Moabites, which is the Chinese, so you'd have to be against Elam, East Indians, Moabites, Chinese, Ammonites, Japanese, Edomites, which is the so-called white people, you're the nation of Edom. You'd also have to be against Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and West Indians, so on and so forth. So you'd have to be against all these peoples. I think even even Assyrians are Shemitic, but I'd have to recheck that. But basically, you'd have to be against all of these people in order to be anti-Shemitic. So theoretically, it's actually impossible for you to be anti-Shemitic if you come from Shem, because you would have to be against yourself. And this just shows that the elites of this society are trying to claim the whole bloodline of Shem as if they're the only descendants of Shem, which is a complete falsehood and a lie. So let's keep going. It says, the suspects are believed to have killed a detective across town and then driven a rental van to the store. Now, ain't that some random shit? Security videos shows them firing on the market before going inside. Investigators believe that the 3 people found dead inside the kosher market were killed by attackers who were also found dead inside the building following a 4-hour standoff with police on Tuesday. Now, how are you going to have a 4-hour shootout with people with the police? How much ammunition would you need to hold out for 4 fucking hours when you see the police rolling up like this? They've got the greater firepower. And they ain't coming there to have, negotiation talks, say, oh, please come out with your hands tied and all this kind of shit. These guys are going in there trained to kill, man. So, it says, and obviously, I believe with the spirit that this is all a setup anyway. This is all propaganda and demonization by Esau, because he knows that, as I said, Revelation 12 and 12, the devil cometh down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that you have but a short time. So let's keep going on to this thing, which I believe through the spirit, it's all staged and shit. It says, an additional victim was injured but managed to escape, authorities said on Wednesday. The mayor of Jersey City, Stephen Fulop, told reporters that the street cameras showed 2 people slowly drive towards the market, then calmly open the door with 2 long rifles and began firing from the street into the shop. Public Safety Director James Shea said video showed they parked their van and also immediately began firing on the location. Asked how police were certain that the shop was targeted, he said the men had bypassed many other people walking on the street to attack the store. The attackers have been identified as David Anderson, 47, and Francine Graham, 50. So they claim it's a man and a woman. Sources tell the NBC that Anderson was a follower of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. You see, here we go with the demonization. They're trying to call us Black Hebrew Israelites when there ain't no such people as black people. That's just a made-up byword. And furthermore, we're just Hebrew Israelites. And you're going to get Israelites who are going to look like all peoples, as I said at the start of this lesson. Furthermore, what about the Northern Kingdom Israelites, the tribes of, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, it's lucky that the names are just jumping out of my head. But you know what I mean? We've got the Northern Kingdom tribes, the Latino tribes, Issachar, Asher, these tribes are from the Latin Kingdom, so they're not so-called black. But yet, Esau tries to demonize us all by labeling us as black people, as black Hebrew Israelites. So it says, sources told NBC Anderson was a follower of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, whose believers say that they are the true descendants of ancient Israelites. Ooh. A neighbor told NBC that Graham was a former home carer in Manhattan and had met Anderson after she got hurt at work. The New York Times and New York Post reported on Wednesday that one of the suspects had made anti-Semitic and anti-police social media posts before the attack. Here you go, these armed police, these fucking, Esau's fucking, they call them armed police, but these guys are practically soldiers, man. It says dozens of armed, dozens. So 1 dozen is 12. So for it to say dozens, it means there must have been over 24 for it to be dozens. Armed. So it says dozens of armed officers were deployed as the suspects took shelter at the supermarket. I mean, this is such bullshit, man. I mean, this is like some fucking... This is the kind of shit you'd expect to see in some Grand Theft Auto game where someone goes on a fucking kill frenzy or a kill spree or something stupidness like that. How the hell are you going to roll up? Okay, you're going to kill some random police officer at a cemetery. How likely is it for you to meet a police officer in a cemetery? Then you're going to drive across town to some random Jewish deli and then start shooting up the place and then have a standoff for 4 fucking hours. What's your escape plan? What do you hope to accomplish by doing this? It just doesn't make any logical sense. And as we all know, Jake aren't usually the ones who... I've got notifications, so I should turn these off. Shit. So lucky I should have turned the notifications off. Yeah, as I was saying, how are you gonna what's your escape plan? What do you hope to accomplish? What do you hope to achieve by doing this? So it says, how did the attack unfold? The violence began at the cemetery about 1 mile away from the grocery store. The suspects killed Detective Joseph Seals, 39, who approached them for questioning about the murder of a Uber driver at Weekend. New Jersey attorney of Guber Grohl said. The pair fled the scene in a van and drove to the kosher supermarket at about 12:20. Now, if you're spiritual, you know that Esau uses numerology on the left-hand side, and all these places and names and stuff are all secret code signals for people to know, okay, what the real message behind this thing is, because obviously insiders know that, okay, there's the secret symbolism of what's being said, e.g., at a cemetery, this person called Joseph Seals, 39, was murdered. Then the pair fled at 12:20, and 1, 2, 2, 2. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but basically, Esau talks through his symbolism on the left-hand side and his numerology. But let me keep this on a simple level, right? It says the pair fled the scene in a van and drove to the kosher supermarket at around 12:20 local time, 17:20 GMT. Where they held off armed police and federal officers for 4 hours, shooting off hundreds of rounds of ammunition. That costs a lot of fucking money to buy all the ammo. The attackers had opened fire on the shop before entering, alerting 2 officers on foot patrol who began firing at the suspects until they were injured by the attacker's gunfire. On Wednesday, the Jersey City Mayor Fulop said they had not been there and not responded. So it's like it says, had they not been there and not responded, more people would have died. Mr. Gruhl said officers were not in the position at this time to say definitively why the suspects decided to stop in front of the supermarket and began firing immediately. So Esau's making his loaded comments, man, because he's trying to push this threat of rising anti-Semitism. So it says, this is one of the biggest gunfights I've seen in a while. William McDonald, 67, told the New York Times, and I've been in Vietnam. Fucking hell, man. They're trying to make it sound like it's a fucking war zone or shit. An active pipe bomb was found in the suspect's vehicle, police say. Reports indicate that a rambling note was also left inside for police to find. The incident ended just around 1600, which is 4 o'clock, when officers used an armoured vehicle to ram through the front entrance of the shop and found the bodies of the attackers. Flipping hell, man. 3 people in the shop were killed. The attack put approximately 30,000 students on lockdown, unable to leave their classrooms for hours after the school day had ended. Class start times were delayed on Wednesday. Who were the victims? 3 victims inside the shop were killed soon after the gunfire broke out, but 1 managed to escape after being injured. They have been identified by New Jersey officials as Mindy Frances, 32, Miguel Douglas, 49, and Moshe Deutsch, 24. Mindel Frances said may she rest in peace, was a pioneer, said Rabbi David Niederman, who first confirmed the death of the mother of 5. She is the lady full of love. Well, what is love? 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. And you Edomites, you so-called Jews, you can't keep the law of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, because the law wasn't given unto you. And what is sin? Sin is transgression of the law. So if you're not under the law, theoretically you cannot sin, because the covenant wasn't given to you people. So this is bullshit. It says she was the lady full of love for others, he added. Unfortunately, her life was cut short. Whoever perished being innocent, man. But nobody fucking perished anyway, because, as I said, for the spirit, this is probably a crisis. Not a crisis, a false flag. And even if it wasn't, you might have some bugged out Jake who's taken a deal, or might have been fucked up on MK Ultra or whatever, to perpetuate this attack to further Esau's agenda. So it says, Frances' mother told the New York Times that her husband, who owned a supermarket, had taken a break from work to go by a nearby synagogue minutes before shots rang out. Moshe Deutsch, 24. Deutsch's death was also confirmed by Rabbi Niederman, who held him as a student who worked to organize a food drive that provided help for 2,000 families each year. Oh, so these are such nice people, weren't they? Fuck that shit, man. What has been the response? New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio called the attack a hate crime and an act of terror, and ordered police on high alert, especially in Jewish communities. Jersey City is a part of the New York metropolitan area. This confirms a sad truth that there is a crisis of anti-Semitism gripping the nation. Gripping this nation. There is a crisis of anti-Semitism in this city, he said in a Wednesday news conference. He added, history tells us to take these warning signs seriously. New York Police Department Commissioner Dermot Shea added that hate crimes in New York City were up 22% this year. You see a swastika being drawn, you see a brick being thrown through a window, you see a woman walking down the street with her kids and having her wig ripped off, he said. So, that's the end of this article. And Esau's basically, you got all these tags here: US gun violence, New Jersey, United States anti-Semitism. So let me get some scriptures and close this out. But before I do, I just want to make this comment that this is all very, very not coincidental, but this was all very planned by Esau, because if you remember, from December the 10th, Esau's been trying to employ his new YouTube policies to get us Israelites off of his platform. And this started on December 10th. And if I'm not mistaken, the shooting took place also on December 10th, which was yesterday. But that shows that Esau isn't wasting a second in order to further his agenda, because as Revelation 12:12 stated, the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that you have but a short time. Let me get these precepts here. It's Revelation 12:12 again. Here we go. This is Revelation 12:12. It says, "Rejoice therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that you have but a short time." I want to get a couple of other precepts, because we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. And if Esau wants to bring about this persecution, let him bring it, man. Because I've had enough of this shit, personally, man. I've had enough of this shithole, and I want to get it out of here, man. I don't know about you, brothers, but the sooner Esau comes with this bullshit, the sooner we get to go home, man. Let me get Psalms 147 and 19, because this touches up on what I was saying before about how the laws, statutes, and commandments weren't given to any other people other than Israel. So this is Psalms 147, verse 19. It says, "He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any other nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh." Let me get Deuteronomy 7:6. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth." He's talking about us Israelites. It says, "Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers, hath Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, and from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt." What do I want to get next? 2 Timothy. Where am I? Let me get for real, not ignorant of Satan's devices. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Yeah, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. We can see what this damn devil Esau is trying to do. So hurry up, devil, because your time is short. Your time's run out, man. Let me get Obadiah 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Most High concerning Edom, "We have heard a rumour from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us raise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen until they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, will they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee, even thee, to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall not I in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. You see, because Esau is coming down with great violence against the men of the Lord, the descendants of Jacob, us true Israelites, Esau's going to come down like a madman, sparing none. So let's say, keep down going, Obadiah 1 and 11. Let me go from 1:10 again. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered his gates to cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity, yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in a crossway to cut off those that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all heathen, and as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as he has drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually, yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be as a fire, and the house of Joseph as a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. So basically, you Edomites are going to be destroyed after your 1,000 years of slavery, and you've paid back everything that you've stolen, predominantly from the nation of Israel, but from all the nations. So let me get Deuteronomy 28 to prove who the real Israelites are, because you can tell who the real Israelites are by looking at the curses that we're under. And it says, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. There you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. To which nation of people did that happen to? That happened to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Hispanics, and Native Americans. We were all put in our different captivities. The Northern Kingdom was put in captivity when Cristobal Colon hit the Americas, and also the Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, went into slavery via the transatlantic slave trade. When in history did you so-called Jewish people ever go into slavery? It never happened. It never happened. Revelation 2 and verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. You shall have tribulation of 10 days, but be faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So yeah, we've got to be faithful, and we can't be scared at these times. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them which dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that house fast which thou hast, that no man may take thy crown. He that overcometh, I will make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go out no more. I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. So New Jerusalem is talking about the 144,000 and the great multitude that are going to come down from the chariots after the destruction, which is going to be the thermonuclear destruction of the ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. So yeah, this lesson's approaching the 30-minute mark. I want to end this now. But you know, Esau's coming with his demonization, and all this month, you know, just a few weeks back over here, you had this incident where this so-called Hebrew Israelite man was cursing out Amalek on the train, and some Muslim woman supposedly stood up for him and shit. Now, I personally believe that guy's an agent. You know, personally, I mean, I might be wrong, but judging through the spirit and judging the timing of that incident, and now seeing the timing of this false flag, I'm perceiving through the spirit, you know, these agents are doing Esau's dirty work to try and stir up tensions and rise things up so that Esau can come against the true men of the Lord. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. As I said, this is a 30-minute mark, so I want to end this here, not make it too long. So with that, giving all praise and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and a sincere shalom to all you Archeum who be pushing this word around the globe in faith and in truth and in sincerity. You know, we're almost getting out of here, man. It's almost time to go home. 220 is going to be a fucking epic year. Whatever happens, whether Yahushua comes back or not, we're going to start to see things getting more intense and heating up. So as I say, man, let Esau come with he's got to come with whatever he's got to come with, because we're almost going home and he's almost going down. So with that, shalom, abba, Kwame Shalala.